We should be live. Hi, guys. It's Ona, your energy customer service rep from Chicago, and Dr. Vicky. Today is Saturday, October 5th, 2024. Live. Thank you, Dr. Vicky, for showing up this Saturday. It's been such a week.
Oh, it has.
Been,
Yep.
oh my gosh, with the eclipse, the new moon, and just the overall energies of the solar things that are the ejection coronal masses and stuff like that, right?
Yes, the efforts to help people who have been devastated by Helene, the opening of the file, Jack Smith's file, which just pretty much tells you what a criminal the former president was, and he had no benefit of the doubt. There's no doubt, right? And all that sort of coming out with this eclipse, and then the what's going on in the Middle East. That's starting to grow, as is what's going on in the Ukraine. So it's a bit of a tinderbox at this time.
Yeah, it really is. I have to say, I have two synagogues that are close to me here, and they both have police barriers and police cars for security, like private security, but they're policemen during the high holiday right now. They're
Yeah.
like petrified to go into the synagogue. And, you know, because nobody knows, it's so unpredictable. So just having that sort of vibe, like walking giblets around and having to like go around and like, did something happen? You realize, oh my gosh, it's Rosh Hashanah. It's the high holy holiday week.
Yeah.
And we don't know what's going to happen.
We do not.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Teresa. It's Nizana. I recognize the name. I recognize the name. So, you know what, before I forget, because you mentioned just before we got on that I had sent the videos, and I'm like, I've never seen birds do like this really crazy thing. And they were just making patterns. I'm like, is this a migratory thing? I believe I mentioned it in a previous episode. And then we had that hurricane storm, Helene, we just had like that high windy day, but it was a weekend, but they haven't been doing that. So maybe they finished their pattern, or I had something I need to look for the next time something like that gets closer. So thanks for reminding me. I'm going to dig up that video and see what kind of timeline is in between what occurred and when they were doing that.
Yeah. Hi, Paula. Ariel. Paula's asking for Jibs.
Sleeping on the couch. He was here earlier and realized that he had nothing on the table that was worth crying over.
You should have named him Giblets Thomas. Thomas was the show me. I don't believe you unless you show me.
Yeah.
Apostle.
Yeah. And then he decided it's, just go lay on the couch because that's his little spot anyway, or at least he's, trying to relax. I fed him a little bit early and we went for a little bit longer walk because I wanted him to be tired.
Yeah.
He distracts me with his business.
So there's a lot of tension in the air. Like where I am, it's pretty, it's not rural, it's a town, but it's kind of rural, and there's not a whole lot of interaction with like people there's nobody on the street. Like it's like a sort of it's a main road, but it doesn't have sidewalks, so you don't have people walking around a lot, right?
Yeah.
So we have this little enclave here, but you can hear the sirens in the background. So many sirens all the time, and helicopters and all kinds of things. And we live close to an air base, Otis Air Base, and so the sky is usually pretty quiet unless something's going on at Otis. And so we know that there's a lot of activity, in that respect. So it's hard to discern anything beyond that.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of time in the garden, in the yard, just working with the doors open and just really the weather here has been beautiful, but it's cold at night and it like warms up during the day. I feel like and so one of our folk here said from hot Arizona, yeah, who is that? Ariel
I
from hot
know.
Arizona.
I
You guys,
saw
I think
that.
it's still 100 there. I think it's like crazy.
It broke a record like 108. Confirmed that area like Thursday or something. I saw 108 on the news. I'm like, my God,
I know.
that's intense. And then the extreme, on the not even that far away other side of the country is just pure hell. It's just unbelievable.
We have four paws. That's hard to say, by the way, if you're from New Jersey, Massachusetts. Four paws. Acupuncture in Salem, Massachusetts. Yeah, there we go. Oh, look at that. Did you do that? Oh, no.
I did that. It says I could show who is there or not.
Oh,
So I
cool.
clicked on. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I didn't know you
Isn't
could
she
do that.
adorable?
Hey,
Her
we're
paws?
learning. We're learning stuff every week.
It just says show. And I thought, why is the little thing hovering over that comment? And I know four paws and I just clicked on. So that's kind of cool. So if we've got
We have a Professor Campbell, the Sons of Negative Energy here. Dangerous on the roads. Yeah, it's been like that here for a while. I'm married to an Aries, and he's like, you know what? Let's because we drive around a little bit. We don't have to. We work out of our house, so we don't have to go out shopping and different things. But
yeah.
it's just like some days we're just like, you know what? Let's not get on the road. And sure enough, there'll be an accident. So a lot of people driving really fast. I think people are angry and they're trying to get their young kids getting their angst out, whatever it is. There's a bunch of kids around here that drive dirt bikes, and they make a lot of noise when they pass. They sort of pass once. They don't like continuously pass, and maybe he goes to work on it. I don't know, but at the beginning of the summer or the end of the spring, we had two kids get killed on the road because they were on their dirt bikes, which I don't think you're supposed to ride them on the street. I don't know. I don't know the rules. And somebody was pulling
No.
out, didn't see them, and they T-boned like a like an SUV, and the kids
Yeah.
died. It wasn't the SUV's fault either because I didn't have the light on. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was something like that.
Yeah, there was a lot of, Ariel said it was 106 today, 107 yesterday. It's too late in the year. It's for that extreme. Yeah, it was 87 inland today, which is like 15 degrees above normal. And it's been getting warmer and warmer. So I think, and I'm blaming it on, but I'm not sure because I am feeling this way.
Well,
Coronal mass ejections, this geomagnetic storms kind of like, getting injected with these sun flares, right? And I think that's just changing things up.
well, it stimulates the atmosphere. It
Yeah.
stimulates the atmosphere. My teacher says that
Oh, yeah.
the mass coronal ejections are new souls coming into the soul sphere. Atmosphere means soul, so it's like, and then it stimulates the souls, and so you'll have a lot of souls coming in, a lot of souls coming out, like,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of people, like a lot of people are here, and then they're leaving, not because of anything they've done, but because, there's this big, it's almost like a big exchange now. The energy is just so, you just don't know, you can't even like say what it's going to be. I try to avoid prediction when I look at my astrology, because I'd rather deal in potentiality. What's the
Yeah.
potential? How can we best utilize this energy? And really, all we can do is let go and go with the flow at this point, because fighting it and getting all upset about it, things are happening too fast, too intensely, and you just have to say, all right, well, trust. I have to trust, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like a giant trust walk. That's what it feels like to me. I
Yeah.
don't know if that resonates with you or anybody.
It resonates with the smell of this whole like transit, all these things that are going. It is definitely got that methane sort of thing. I'm like, what is it, the Scorpio moon? And then you're like, well, you got your like Pluto and Uranus
Oh
and
yeah, you're getting.
Mars. It's been a rotating methane thing going on.
Yeah.
So it's the
Yeah,
same.
and I actually
Let it
have
go.
that. I have all that stuff on my Venus, because I have Venus at 27 of Taurus. So I have Uranus on my Venus. I have Neptune sextiling my Venus. I have Pluto trining my Venus.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, so I mean, and then other stuff going on, like Saturn close to my moon. But well, I don't know what that's going to mean, but you know what I mean? Like it's just, I don't know. It's just, I just wake up every day and say, yay, I get to do what I love. And then I
Yeah.
do it. I mean, that's
And
it.
how did the eclipse affect you? I know, like across our own United States, we had a lot of information that came out that day. Wasn't that Jackson's, like his new birthday, his celebration day? It was a day in 19 over one. That was like the next day. So it definitely, I definitely felt like there was, in order for me to move forward, I need to let something go. And I've just been stagnant about it. And finally, I wrote down the, already feel better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Truly big shifts, big shifts coming, big shifts, and just the way things are handled, the way the way you handle things, and the opportunities that are available once you let stuff go.
Yeah. Well, it's that old adage that God can't put anything in your hand when your fist is closed, if you're holding on. Right? You have to do this. The letting go is that's when the flow comes to you, and the letting go, right?
Yeah.
So, and a lot of it, for me, most recently, I think what I've had to that I've noticed that I'm letting go of is like a real sense of I don't know, I don't want to say caring what other people think, but worrying about what other people like I've always sort of been of the ilk to see what needed to be done for others before I did stuff for myself. But it's the nature of being a healer, right? I mean, you spend your life taking care of people
Right.
in some dire situations, or when they're feeling vulnerable, when they're in pain, and you're there to like ease that for them and get them moving again, and getting them sort of moving away from pain. So that's always sort of been my focus.
Yeah.
And I've noticed like a little bit of a shedding of that, and just allowing myself to be a little more creative, and really sort of get into the joy of creativity, which I've always like loved. I've always been creative, but it's always been interspersed between these obligations that I've had to other people. And I feel like I just want to express my creativity now.
Yeah.
And it's no longer an obligation. It becomes just another expression of what I love to do and what I love to surround myself with.
Yeah.
Um, And that's what I've been noticing in myself.
Paula said the northern lights will be visible tonight. I did see something. I'm going to put that up. There in New England, there was a solar flare recently. And I think that I did see the Aurora thing, I think, on the news last night, or when it would be available somewhere in a news feed. This might interrupt some of your. That's what it was. I got a message from my internet provider.
Oh,
That's what sparked a lot of this was their solar, the energy of the solar flare mass ejection may affect your service, interrupting it between October 6th and 7th, brief interruptions that they don't have any control over. And I'm like, I'm always thinking that's going to be something that, they're upgrading so they could be more surveilled about everything, but it's definitely feeling that way.
well, I know the couple of times it's been a very active solar period, I guess, anyway. And I have noticed it happened in the summer and this week is the amount of body aches I've had and moving around feels like I'm like have an exoskeleton instead of an inner skeleton.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like this, but I'm feeling like very, in a way, contracted, and I don't like that feeling. I feel like I'm not free, and I don't know if that's because of the coronal ejections, or maybe it's very possible I'm just not moving around enough. Because
I think the way it affects the magnetic field could definitely be related to more density.
yeah,
Bones, the skeletal, I think that, yeah.
spent my life moving bones, man.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense, right?
I've been into bones a long time. Do you know the first thing I wanted to be was the first thing I ever wanted to be was an astronomer. And then the second thing I wanted to ever be was an archaeologist. Those are the two things I wanted to do. And I became a chiropractor who does astrology.
Yeah.
So I had the right idea. I just didn't have
It just a little detour there.
Oh my goodness.
I wanted to be an artist, but you don't make money doing that. And then I wanted to be an engineer, and women aren't engineers. So I ended up being a nurse because it's a sustainable lifelong income. Who now engineers art
Yes.
from garbage.
Pretty much. Well, I mean, it's beautiful garbage. We'll call it scraps. I wouldn't
Reuse.
Call it I would use it.
Repurpose.
I would call it scraps. Repurpose. Yeah.
Repurpose.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. So it's always waiting for you. Whatever your dream was or what you wanted to do, that's for real. It's real.
The solar flares cause discomfort in older folks. Well, I guess I'm an older folks.
Yeah, I could appreciate that because I do feel like there's some kind of upgrade in your immune system that is going to happen or is required. It's being asked of you, and this is when we ask, people like to boost your immune system time of year and always make sure that that is working at its peak, kind of thing. So yeah, I feel like there's an upgrade coming.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're in the process. I think that's what we're feeling, honestly, because it's almost like, breaking out of the chrysalis, perhaps. Now we're just sort of pushing against the chrysalis to crack it open, and eventually we'll fly, but we have to get strong enough.
Yeah. This week, so many of my human patients came in with jaw, neck, and shoulder pain. Let me put this up. I even woke up with the same symptoms today. Yeah, because you kind of take it on.
Yeah.
You absorb it out of them, and you end up feeling the same way. It's kind of like what
For
causes it cures it, right?
do you do anything for pause? Do you do anything to help release that in yourself? Like after you see clients or patients, do you have any kind of ritual to cleanse yourself of the energy? I'm just curious.
That would be
That's the one thing that was. I went to a relatively scientifically based chiropractic college, and there's a part of chiropractic that they didn't teach me, and I learned over the years. But it's the it's what happens when you touch a lot of people, and you know how to like how you learn how to touch them, but how to protect yourself sometimes from what they hold in their bodies. They didn't teach us that, and I think it's a disservice. I think anybody who works with people needs to learn about energy and how to cleanse their
yeah.
energy.
And when you take energy courses, energy work courses, that is a big deal.
Oh, Catherine, yes, yes, Kathy, I'm feeling the same thing. It's hard to, like when I get out of a chair and I start to move, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this should not be this hard. I am not this old.
I think I think that might be one of the symptoms is because I've been sleeping a lot. Like I could take like 2-hour naps and stuff, and that's kind of a lot. And still sleeping like 6 hours at night. And
That's
and I
good.
think I'm
Eight
blaming it
hours
on
is 8 hours is the isn't that the magic number anyway?
I was always on like a 4 to 6 maximum, and I've been able to sleep more. And I'm sort of thinking maybe that's it too. It's just like it's something your body needs to adjust to. That is when your body heals. That's when you astral travel. That's when all that stuff happens. There's activity, but your body is trying to heal itself when you're sleeping and adapt
Yeah.
and restore itself. So I'm going to like run with that.
Well, the other thing that with Neptune, being opposite your Mars, but then also Neptune in the last degrees of Pisces, I think that has something to do because Pisces rules sleep, right? That's and the on the tree of life, the path ruled by Pisces is called the corporeal intelligence, which is about the intelligence of the body, the innate intelligence within the body.
Yeah.
And so when we sleep, we allow the body to, because the body really is a slave to our consciousness, right? When you
Mhm.
think about it. And so when we sleep, it allows the body to no longer be a slave to our consciousness and get a chance to heal itself. Especially important. And we have all this Pisces energy, and the North Node is going to go in Pisces in January, and Neptune is there. And that's 18 months of us being asked to go with the flow, let go, forgive, right? And the South Node is going to be in Virgo. So all
That's
of
when the nodes switch in January, huh?
January, I think it's January, yeah, pretty sure.
We're on an Aries Libra axis, and then we're going to move into a Pisces for a while.
Right. When we went into Aries, Pluto, Scorpio, not Pluto, Scorpio, Taurus, Scorpio. We had the war in Ukraine start, and then Pluto, uh,
Gemini Sag.
Aries, what we're in now, Aries, Libra
Yeah.
was the war in Gaza, in Hamas, the attack of Hamas, right? So those two, and both, it's interesting because both of those archetypes that we deal with in those pairs of signs is about relating,
Yeah.
their relationship. In Scorpio, um, Taurus, you're sharing your body, you're sharing your money, you're sharing your feelings, right? What I have, what you have, and then in Aries, and and Libra, the question is, who am I and who are you and what do you mean
Yeah.
to me and what compromises do I need to make? And, so those are the energies. And now at the beginning of the year, it's going to move into the signs associated with healing.
Yep.
Right. So there's going to be, and we don't know, with all the climate change and all the stuff that's happening, we don't know what's really being expressed into the systems, into the natural systems. There are things, I mean, there are glaciers that are melting that have been frozen for like 100,000 years. What kind of viruses are in the glaciers that are melting? You know what I mean? Like it's like so those are just things that you have no control over that. It's not like you can
Right.
worry about it. So all you really can do is you can support yourself, through nutrition and healing and going to your acupuncturist or your chiropractor or your healer and making sure that you're taking care of yourself.
Being able to discern what is going to trigger you. We tell people, oh, just kind of stay away from the news. If the news is something that triggers anger, we know that's hard to snap out of. So try and stay away from those trigger things if you can. If you see somebody calling you that oh, I don't want to, they're going to trigger that, just don't answer the phone, kind of thing. Somebody asked a question that I have not done any work on or thought of, but I've been hearing about also, and I'm going to put it up, is what is the second moon doing to us? What is the second moon, first of all?
Yeah, I haven't heard of this second moon.
I have, and I don't know. I could maybe quickly Google it, or if somebody wants to quickly Google it and see what this second moon, I've heard this.
Is it like Lilith or something like that? Is it Black Moon Lilith?
No, it's a visible asteroid, or not. It's not the comets. I don't think it's the comet, but I'll find out right now.
I have enough trouble just keeping up with the one moon we have. Now I'm going to have to figure out the astrology of the second moon. Is that what's happening here?
I think it's something that comes into orbit it's official, 6 moons, Earth.com.
Say that again, sweetie.
It says it's official. Earth now has 2 moons.
Oh.
You've probably heard somewhere Earth was going to get a second moon. We can confirm now that Earth has 2 moons after capturing asteroid 2024 PTS. So there's an asteroid 2024 PT5 that is close to the moon and visible from Earth. We have a cloudy sky, but I'm going to look for it, and I can look it up on the Stellarium app. I could just put in 2024 PT5.
Wow.
And I'll find it and see what we get from it. So I think it's transitory. It's not stationary. It's not going to be there for a long time. And it started Sunday, September 29th, and turned into a temporary mini moon. And then it goes on about, like, it's earth.com, nature, science, and life. So
September, did you say it came on, our new moon was born on the 29th?
Is when it would have been starting its transit that is visible to us.
Oh, wow. On the 30th, we had Mars trine Saturn. That sounds like a temporary visitor who stays around for a while.
Yeah, right?
All new worlds are being discovered and coming into consciousness. The more conscious we become, the more we're going to see. It might have always, things might be out there that have always been out there, but until we're conscious, you don't see them. Right? It's just like when you start to see spirits. You can train yourself to see stuff.
Yeah. I like to think of, these solar flares and these coronal ejection things. Like you said, they're like souls that are sort of coming in, like knocking on the door sort of thing. I like to think of it in that these are new ways of being. that
Yeah.
we're trying to channel in and generate.
It could also be higher vibrational frequencies because the sun is like a portal to the great central sun. Like it's
Mhm.
not like just by itself. It's connected just like everything else is connected, right? In the universe. All the suns are connected. We're all connected. We're just trying to play the strings so that vibration is big deal. That's another thing that's we're gonna really feel the difference once Pluto gets out of Capricorn. We're gonna feel very different. This is just like the last bit of that. And Pluto next week is going
Yes.
direct on the 11th. And it's a big deal because it's moving out of Capricorn. It won't be back in Capricorn for another like 230 years,
And how long has Pluto been in Capricorn?
since 2008.
So think of that window of time between 2008 and now. That's the time Pluto's been in Capricorn. It's just getting ready to go directly out of Capricorn and move into Aquarius. So how much of a window of time is that? 26 years? Even
No,
more.
no. It was 2008. It was in there for 16 years.
16 years.
Yeah. I mean, we already had Pluto in Aquarius. We've tasted it.
Yeah.
And then it's gone back into, and the first, we had that first taste of it, and then it went back into Capricorn for a while, quite a long time. And then it moved
Yeah.
into Aquarius for quite a long time, and then moved back into Capricorn since the 1st of September.
So that's
And
going to be moving in January and it's going to stay there for 16 years. So this is like, that's it. It's like,
you mean Aquarius? 20 years in Aquarius.
it'll be there for 20 years. So it's like the retirement party for Saturn in
Pluto and
Pluto and
Capricorn.
Capricorn.
Yeah.
And then Neptune's going to leave its home sign of Pisces
Right.
soon, next year or 2026.
It moves out next year, but doesn't stay out until I think till 2026.
So
Neptune
this
moves
is a
first.
big deal. These are big energies. They're generational things.
When the outer planets change signs, and we're going to have 3 sign changes of the outer planets now. Already we have had Pluto move into Aquarius and back into Capricorn, and now it's going to go into Aquarius. Neptune is going to go into Aries, and Uranus is going to go into Gemini. The last time we had like that many transpersonal planets move into new signs was 2008, 2010, and 2011, I believe.
Okay.
And that whole time period, and that was a very we had what did we have? Well, we had the financial collapse at that time, right? And then there was also some
Yes.
other big things. Oh, there was the tsunami. No, there was the it was a tsunami, but it wasn't the one in Indonesia. That was 2004. It was the other one, the one in after the earthquake, and then Fukushima and all of that. That happened then. We had in 2010 we had the thing go off in the Gulf of Mexico, all that oil, right,
Yeah.
into the Gulf, right. So there's been a lot of a lot of what we've become aware of, the amount of plastic in the oceans and how it's and the fish, and then the climate change and crops and food's going to be is we're going to have to learn how to work with nature and
Yeah.
utilize technology to keep ourselves fed until we can figure out the new patterns that nature is bringing to us. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Things are going to need to be reconfigured because there's a lot of that land in that whole area where Helene damaged and destroyed, where they grow a lot of that stuff. Strawberry farms, there's all those, like, I mean, everybody had farm. It's all farm down there. It's going to change some stuff up. That's a car.
What song is the car playing? Maybe something happened we don't know.
I don't know. Maybe there was like a boob mobile earlier because it was the breast cancer
A boob.
run. Yeah, along the lake. That's every year is their breast cancer run. I think it was like a 5K or maybe half marathon thing. I don't remember, but it's a marathon. I think is in 2 weeks, the Chicago Marathon. So a lot of that activity right now, which is good. It's been like perfect for that. The weather has been perfect. Yeah, we're definitely shifting some. Witch of the Wildwood said it was a butt kicker 16 years for me. Yeah. Yeah. It's same,
Oh
literally
my God. I
colon
mean,
cancer butt kicker.
yeah. I had,
No kidding, girl.
yeah, well, you're a Capricorn and I'm a Cancer, and we
Yep.
got hit pretty hard by that.
Very.
And it was there were periods during that time that I wasn't sure. Like, it wasn't, I don't
Oh
know,
yeah.
you look back, you're like, how did I do that? Okay, I did it. It doesn't matter. I did it. It's behind me, but
Yeah.
it was hard. Your son, your son is at what?
I think
20,
it's
right?
20. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I have my son at 11, 12, Cancer. And during that uh, period when Pluto and Uranus were squaring each other 7 times, my son was like in the middle of that. And so I had an opposition from Pluto and a square from Uranus.
Yeah.
And simultaneously, Neptune was opposing my Mars. So I had all the like transpersonal planets. So I know how you feel. I had all these transpersonal planets like barraging my sense
Yeah.
of who I am, my son. Um, all at the same time. And it was a real ego. I had to go through some experiences that really, um, things that I thought about, how I judged other people and how
Mm-hmm.
I judged myself all went out the window. Because, you know, it, I don't know I don't know how else to explain. It's like an ego, like your ego, you just have to say,
Yep.
you have to just allow your ego to become different,
Yeah.
something else, something
Yeah.
more appropriate to what spirit wants instead of what your perceptions of life. I don't know how else to explain that, but
I
that's what
remember feeling like after the chemo and the year afterwards and learning about the synesthesia and all that, I just remember feeling like every single patient I ever had in my entire nursing career. I was the oncology patient, I was the psychiatric patient, I was addicted to pain medicine. I had wounds. I had, I mean, every patient I ever had, I was that patient. I became that patient. I had a different perspective
wow.
of how I walk in a room now. So different. And it is about how you judge and how your bias. And sometimes it's just the way you were brought up and you don't know how to act any certain way affects them. Everything. So yeah, I'm good. Thank you, Pluto, for the lessons.
Yeah.
Bye. Okay. And it might be as Pluto, it might be as it's stationing direct, that feeling of that weighty sort of Capricorn is that It's the rock. So it might be feeling that way. Or just, the effects of the weather, which is being affected by the atmosphere, which is being affected by the magnetic field, tracing back to the solar flares. So I think there's a chain that if you're feeling wonky and you want to meditate, but there's no internet kind of feeling, you might want to reach out for those old sort of techniques that don't require any of that stuff, like just breathing.
Yeah, I was going to say breathing is going to be a big. Breathing always brings you back to it's the most basic thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
No breath, no life, right? The breath of life. So allowing it to come in and out of your body, and consciously breathing will always bring you to your center. And when we get anxious and when we watch too much TV and everybody's saying that, like, I don't know, I watched a little bit of Steve Judge thing and I was like, Steve, calm down, man. It's like, it seemed
He
like
gets fired up.
something's going to happen. It's like, yeah, something's going to happen.
He's
Okay.
passionate about his craft. I want to put up a question here. If I can go back to it, Catherine asked, what is a good way to cleanse yourself of negative energy? If you don't have time for the sit down, the ritual, or anything like that, I do incense. I do it every day. I do it when I come home. Sometimes if somebody looks at the dog funny, I'll do it with the dog too. It's just I light incense and I make sure I get behind me, and then I walk through the smoke, and I think in my head, just I don't need to have a conversation with negativity right now. Go away, and the smoke just lingers. So when you even just smell it on your shirt, you remember that you've asked negativity to just step away right now. That would be the easiest, most inexpensive, or if you need to scream it out loud, even cheaper. I don't need your presence right now. You're angry, you're negative. I don't know what you're trying to do. It's a trigger. So how do you get rid of the trigger? What do you think? What do you think, Vicky, is a good way to get negative energy off of you?
Well, I like a good shower, honestly. As a water sign,
Yeah.
I find taking a shower is like amazing. And sometimes, like, even just walking in the rain, I like to do that. That'll do it as well. It has to be that nice soft rain, and not too cold because I'm a baby. But that kind of thing. I use sage, incense like that, and Palo Santo sometimes. I have some spray. I can spray the Palo Santo. Movement, you could always do a little dance when you think about it, like throw the energy off of you, like become a whirling dervish without killing yourself. Now, don't do anything that's going to hurt you. Okay.
Yeah.
But,
And we pull it off and sort of, flick it off. You see, right, or wind it up.
Ground yourself, walk through the grass. Like, you got to be careful where you live, but I can just go in the yard, take my shoes off, walk through the grass a little bit. Mother Earth will take the energy. There's no, that she will transmute it. She transmutes that energy. So, so there's a million ways, but breath, a smoke. I would think like an air sign would do good with either breathing exercises or maybe walking through some sage. Cancers, Scorpios, Pisces, they probably need to jump in a body of water or just take a shower. I know that's very helpful for me.
Yeah.
Fire signs, you could, do some candle magic, right? Just burn some stuff away. If you feel like, or take the big sword out, Michael's sword, and get rid of the hangers on. Because if you have that fire energy, people come around to warm themselves with you, but you have to make sure you're tending your own fire with that. And then Earth, I guess, just like walking out in nature. So whatever. I mean, I guess you could go by what the moon's doing. Like the moon's in Scorpio right now, like a good shower.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like, oh God, that sounds good. Or hey, it's chilly tonight. I'm not going to turn on the heat, but I will get in the bathtub. I like this one from Four Paws. It's a soak your feet in Epsom salts. That's
Yeah.
magnesium, and that is earth. If you can't put your feet on the ground, which I can't because I'm up a bunch of floors here. I do get in the plants every day, but that is manganese. That's magnesium. So
Magnesium, which will also help you sleep. It'll help you think, and it'll help you poop. So all of that is good, I think.
that sounds that sounds like an awesome option. It is. And put some, other
Yeah.
crystals in the water.
Well, and just in general, magnesium is a good supplement, especially if you have any kind of brain fog or anything like that. And I know a lot of the people who have long COVID get that, but the magnesium helps your brain work better and also relaxes your muscles. But you do have to, if you take too much, it makes you poop.
Yes.
So you do have to be aware of that. If you take more than the dose, like sometimes I'll take 2, but usually 1 is sufficient.
Like milk of magnesia.
Yeah, exactly.
Magnesium. It's the same thing.
Right, but don't do that. Don't take
No, that's concentrated magnesium. That's not what you need. That's not good. That will not make your immune system happy.
Yeah.
Calcium at night because it has magnesium. Yeah, everybody's got like really good options, and I think we've learned a lot in this whole time when we've had to learn how to calm ourselves down. Meaning,
Oh my
we were
God.
challenged by this awful presidency, and then we had to acquire new tools to help us calm down because the list is awesome. And yeah, for sure, it was a good lesson in that. And then we can bring those up again when things come up that are challenging. And this time of year in the United States, it's a challenging time. It's virus season. Everybody wants to take a flu shot. It's that whole thing is when, things come up. So keeping your immune system starts now for the winter.
Yeah, it started in 2000 and what was it, 16 or 15 when he came down that freaking escalator?
It's interesting that we've got, medications that we recognize our cortisol levels are through the roof, and they need to be measured because that's like the pin on the grenade. Like once that's pulled, all our systems are working based on the levels of cortisol that is getting poured out, and that it affects everything. It affects your mental health. It affects your physical body, your gut, your immunity. So got to remember those little things. Definitely want to see if we get that comet this week. I hope so.
Why don't we, you want to pull some cards for the week? Right?
Yeah. We've got Pluto stationing direct.
We have Jupiter stationing retrograde. Yeah, let me see what else. I have my calendar right
Jupiter stationing direct. The comet. I wrote down the comets. And
we have an exact trine between Venus and Mars this week coming. That happens on the 8th. The 9th we have
Mars is in Libra, right?
No, Mars in Cancer. And Venus in Scorpio. Right? And then we have Saturn in Pisces. So Saturn is part of a grand trine with these two. And
Okay.
this is the cycle. The Venus Mars cycle is the synodic cycle that deals with relationship and relating. And it had its conjunction back in February at 7 degrees of Aquarius. So this synodic cycle started with Venus and Mars conjunct in Aquarius, and the Sabian symbol for that degree was a baby being born out of an egg, and it spoke of new people, new actual types of humans coming in at this time. So this is a really, yeah, yeah, and we're learning how to work with this energy. I mean, I think a lot of the children that came in with, initially ADD, and then the next thing was the uh, I guess autism or spectrum
Autism.
stuff,
Yeah. And then the
or
spectrum.
or
Yes.
the or the even the bipolar, a lot of personality
Mm-hmm.
disorders and stuff. There's a lot of reasons for it, but that those are the new humans. Those are the new humans,
Yeah.
and we have to learn how to. We just have to learn how to be nicer to each other. I think it would make.
I think, and I even like told my cousin this the other night that we are learning as adults in our age category in our generation that we may have had some of these traits of ADD and things like that that we were just pushed down, like we were suppressed, and now we're realizing, hey, we had some of these symptoms of this, sort of neurodivergent thing that's going on. And yeah, we probably do. And
Well,
we
yeah, and you're not going to sort of go. You're always going to be, what is that? Marching to the beat of a different drummer. It's the nature of the new consciousness coming in. So all of us, like astrologers and healers and you know pseudoscientists or whatever they consider us.
yeah, I think that's getting better. I think we're going to see much more
Oh yeah, well with Pluto and
narrative.
Aquarius,
Yeah,
yeah, of course.
exactly. Right.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting. It's going to be interesting for sure. It's going to be an interesting 20 years.
Yeah. So what's the question? What's
Maybe just to look ahead.
week
Look at
ahead?
the week ahead. Just information for the week ahead for folks. What does Spirit want us to bring up? I'll let you go first if that's okay. All right.
We're starting with Scorpio moon this week. And we'll cover a little bit when Giblets and I do time out in the morning.
Actually, wait, what is it? The moon's in Scorpio today. Moon's into Sag tomorrow. 7:34 here, 6:34 p.m. for you.
Okay.
It's in Sag. It's
Water fire.
actually it's actually in Sagittarius when Jupiter stations, and Jupiter is the ruling planet of Sag, so that's interesting.
That's going to be interesting. That's
And
going to be
then
interesting. Got Sag, Capricorn, and then we end up with an Aquarius moon. So water is on the fence. Hopefully it stays away and people can get the aid that they deserve without it being interrupted by more rain. The first card I got was Two of Cups. So kind of making an agreement, having backup, I like to think. Somebody to talk to. The next one is Knight of Wands. So some kind of message, maybe. Inspiration. The next is the Seven of Swords. It's not reverse. Seven of Swords. So it looks like these people are having coffee and these Two of Cups, so that there's something that we might witness that might be a little disturbing. And then the Seven of Pentacles. Seeing what you have like in reserve. 2 sevens in a row. 7 and 7 is 14. On the bottom is 5 of Cups and 4 of Swords. There might be something that occurs this week. 4 of Swords. 5 of Cups. That's an ending. Something that needs to be put to rest. And that 77 is 7 of Swords and 7 of Pentacles. So air and earth, so, and which is represented in the moons this month and this week. What do you think? How would you interpret that?
The Two of Cups would be relating, compromise, talking to people, heart to heart kind of stuff. What was the second card?
Knight of Wands.
Yeah, I feel like that's people out helping people. I feel like those are the people who are the firemen and the linemen and the people who are going out and helping people. I always see the Knight of Wands as being a bit of a process, like walking your walk, or being out there and being of service in some way to inspire and warm people. You know what I mean? Like that energy.
And then 7 of Swords and 7 of Pentacles. This 7 of Swords looks like you've boned a fish.
You know, the 7 of Swords, the 7 of Pentacles, I think is going to be people evaluating, I think, what's going on in Israel and Lebanon and all that, or the Middle East, I guess, just what's going on in the Middle East, and the price of that and the cost of that in people, the cost of that in treasure, the cost of that in creating instability. That's what that feels like to me. You know, Pluto changing direction in Capricorn and then like moving out. I mean,
I want to just,
go ahead.
You know how we figure shit out when we do a little dive? Let's do a little dive. Monday is the Knight of Wands energy. It's the 7th day in the month. Okay, Monday the 7th, Knight of Wands. And then we've got 7 of Pentacles. And the moon's in Sag. You know what, I just think you might be hearing more about some bombings. Fire, air, Pentacles.
Yeah.
And close in on Monday. You know, when we do that, like all kinds of noise starts coming in. When we start looking up the cards and figuring out the symbolism in it and how it relates to the planets and how it relates to the days in the week and how hard it is to pinpoint a date with the tarot, I think this is a solid watch out for Monday as being kind of a fiery day. Moon's in Sag.
So I got the 5 of Pentacles. 5 of Pentacles. This is the Crow deck. Death. So it's very possible somebody, because your cards kind of look like somebody was leaving this week. And I mean, it could be Jimmy Carter.
It could be. If he voted. Did he vote? He turned.
I don't know. Right? Did he vote yet? I don't know.
He turned 100.
Right. But he has to wait for his ballot to come. Then I got the Star. which is hope. The Seven of Cups, which is a lot of choices, right?
And the number 7.
It's a 7 again. It's the other 7, right? You didn't get that one. And then the Two of Swords, which is sort of a stalemate. There's like this, or this could be a truce. There could be we could get surprised with, and it seems so unlikely, but we could get a surprise with a truce around one of the conflicts that the many conflicts we're seeing in the world. We might be able to see some sort of, where the swords cross and nobody's doing anything.
Good. That's kind of that's intense.
Well, it's an intense week.
It's an intense week, you guys. It's an intense week. So I hope there were some good suggestions out there that will help navigate any kind of negative energy, at least recognizing that you're angry or feeling that way, or something is disruptive or achy, or fall immediately asleep after you go horizontal and can't stay awake, that these energies do affect you. We're here because of the magnetic energy.
Yeah.
That we can walk around is because of the magnetic field, and the field is changing.
That's right. And I remember hearing that our memory is connected to the magnetic field.
Oh, no doubt.
So with the shifting in the fields, our past gets wiped away. Now, I'm not sure if I know I heard that, and I'm not sure if I took it on, because at the time my memory was disappearing. But that was Lyme disease, so that got better.
Does that mean like the wrinkles go away too, or is that still required? Okay, so
no, but you can't see them. You have to look really close to see them now. So that's the benefit of not seeing so clearly as you get older, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Alrighty, guys, thank you so much. Please tune in for Time Out with Giblets in the morning while we pick an oracle card for the energies of the week, which already we can tell are going to be intense.
So I want to just say thank you for joining us, everyone. Yeah. For those of you who might be interested in taking an astrology class with me, I'm starting one on the fundamentals of evolutionary astrology, starting on Monday the 14th. So if you want, go to my website, The Seeds of Transformation, and just go to the events page. That's usually where I have a class. It'll be listed on there, and then you can join. You just have to know. You don't have to be an expert in astrology, but you have to at least be able to speak a little language of it. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be fun. Yeah, and next week we'll have Mystic Sisters on my channel. And I'm looking at the schedule. So it'll be on my channel on the 12th, your channel on the 19th. So you get the full moon week. And I'm on the 26th and then the 2nd. So maybe we have to have a Halloween special of some sort.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. And we'll see you in the morning.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.